Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When one is in the presence of a true sheikh, a jnana sheikh, a sheikh of wisdom, there's a sense of peacefulness that surrounds the sheikh that you can feel. And if you let yourself go, you can be enveloped by that sense of peacefulness. And that sense of peacefulness and calm will overcome you and make you serene. And that's one of the reasons that people keep coming back to his presence, because of the serenity that is there, and the serenity that can enter your being if you allow yourself to be serene. Now, whether people believe in what they see or don't believe in what they see is within themselves. But from my experience, I have found that even Satan finds serenity in the presence of a true sheikh. So people who don't necessarily believe in what the sheikh is saying and don't necessarily understand the import of what he is expounding still come because of the sense of peace. The Prophet has told us that we have to be beware of the imposters. And the Surah Al-Yasin says, the ones who don't understand is because God has put a yoke around them so they can't turn their heads and see the truth. And you have to wonder, how is it possible that people who are not sincere can stay in the presence of a sheikh? And the reason is that the sheikh usually allows everyone to be in his presence, just as God allows everyone to be on this earth, the sincere and the insincere. But what we have to do as individuals on this path is we have to form sincerity in our being, and we have to believe in the postulates of truth, in the postulates of reality. We have to believe in the truth of the qualities that take us to the appropriate places. Now, for those who don't believe in the truth, but believe in the world, they see those who believe in the truth as easy marks, as people they can take advantage of. And they come to conclusions that if you're within a group of believers, if you don't have those same attitudes, you can take advantage of situations and end up with some kind of personal gain. You can create situations that are somehow beneficial to you. In truth, that can't be done. It appears that that's being done. It appears that there might be some artificial advantage, some illusory advantage that you take over people who are trying to adhere to the truth, to reality. But that advantage is artificial, and it's temporary, and it's paid for eventually. So what we have to do is, notwithstanding what we see around us, notwithstanding the actions of the ones who may try to harm us, we have to stay on the path of truth, within the qualities of truth, and within the actions of truth. And as we do that, then the rewards of truth come to us, and we will learn about reality and the serenity that truth alone can bring. If we don't stay within the confines of what's permitted, we'll never know the rewards of staying within the confines of what's permitted. And if we stray from what's permitted, and we don't see the rewards of being within the confines of what's permitted, the mind will tell you there are no rewards to taking the hard way. There are no rewards to doing the true thing, because you haven't done it. And you can't see it because you haven't done it. And the mind will tell you, because Satan talks to you through the mind, that it doesn't exist. That there is no reality to being within the confines of what's permitted, and there is no reward within the confines of what's permitted. Yet, the experience of being with someone who does it, and the serenity that surrounds them, and the ability to enter into that serenity by you because you're in that presence, should indicate to you how much further you can go if you become like them. So if they can be serene, and their serenity is at such a level that just by being in their presence, your difficulties and your burdens fall away. Imagine the levels you can go to if you become more and more and more like them. So we should never stop. We should never say, I've gone far enough. There is always further to go. There's always more to be uncovered. And we can always be more truthful, more honest with reality. We can always be more appropriate. And to do this, we have to become cognizant of all of our actions, and we have to know how to put a brake on our emotions and put a brake on the things that we are willing to do. So many around Muhammad Rahim Bawa Muhaiyaddeen became vegetarians. Well, one of the things they stopped doing was eating meat. So they put a brake on their desire to eat meat. And if meat was brought in front of them, they turned from it. Well, that's just a gross physical example. But power and arrogance, these things to make yourself larger, also get presented to you in various situations and occasions. Can you put a brake on yourself from becoming bigger and larger? Can you put a brake on yourself from entering into states of anger? Can you put a brake on yourself from entering into states of animosity? Because if we enter into states of animosity, we are moving ourselves away from states of serenity. Animosity and serenity can't exist together. Arrogance and serenity can't exist together. And it's only when we begin to realize that all of the things that the world tells us are good for us are in fact poisoning our serenity, when we really begin to realize that and believe that, can we stop being imposters? Because as long as we believe that there is benefit to what the world is throwing at us, and that there is benefit to not following the rules of appropriate behavior, we are imposters. And we're imposters to ourselves. We're leading ourselves in a wrong direction. So we have to take on voluntarily and with gratitude the rules that confine our behavior. We have to take other people's names out of our mouths. We have to take gossip out of our mouths. We have to take opinions about other people out of our mouths. We need to take them out of our minds and out of our actions. We need to learn to be and stay serene. And to be and stay serene, we have to enter into the serene qualities. And if we don't, we can't. And if we don't know that they exist. And if we're outside of the serene qualities, we don't know what serenity is. So what do? We replace serenity with wealth as our satisfaction. We replace serenity with anger as our strength. We replace serenity with arrogance and self-aggrandizement to make ourselves big. Why? Because we can't be serene. So we want to be something, we want to feel something, so we feel these qualities that push serenity away. And then the rehabilitation from these qualities is almost like the relief from an addiction, because we've become addicted to these qualities of arrogance and superiority and I am better than you and differences. And once we become addicted to those qualities, the turnaround becomes really difficult. So we have to work steadily at improving our qualities. We have to work steadily at developing a brake, and by brake, I mean the kind of brake that's in a car, so that we can stop these qualities as they arise in us. And we have to stop believing that the world and the things that the world gives us give us some kind of satisfaction. Yet, the entire world looks at wealth as a positive thing, looks at power as a positive thing, looks at control as a positive thing. And in truth, they all pull you away from the ability to become serene and become at one with your Lord and the qualities that your Lord gives you. Allah is Rahman, and He has given His creation the ability to be like Him, to have Rahman. But if you have arrogance, you can't have Rahman. You can't have Rahim. You can't have mercy and compassion and arrogance. Mercy and compassion mixed with arrogance is a human creation. It's not a godly creation. Yet, man believes that it's real. Man believes that if people lie in order for them to advance themselves, that there's some positive good that comes out of it. They don't realize that lying on a regular basis scars your being. And the only way that those scars can be healed is through truthfulness. But When everything you've done is based on a series of lies, there has to be a major breakdown before there can be a turnaround. And people are afraid of the shame that's going to come from that breakdown. So what do? They stay within the realm that they've lived in, and that realm of lies, and that realm of blaming, and that realm of separating, and that realm of accusing, and that realm of pushing people away so that they can't be looked at. People believe that shaming others somehow hides their own shame. It doesn't. Allah sees through everything, and people with wisdom see through everything. We have to become clean. The hypocrite is the one who thinks one thing and says another. You have to be able to say what you think. And if you're ashamed to say what you think, you have to be able to change the way you think. And this is a difficult process. But it's a process that we have to go through. And unless we have the courage to face our inadequacies, unless we have the courage to face the things that we're ashamed of in our own being, we are never going to change them. And unless we have the courage to say, it's my fault, as opposed to it's your fault, we're never going to change things. Jesus said, people see the speck in somebody else's eye, but they don't see the log that's floating in their own eye. We need to stop looking externally for faults in others and start looking at ourselves. Bawa said once, Islam is a sword that's to be used to cut away your own lower self, your own inadequate qualities. But instead, it's used to cut other people's qualities. In other words, it's very easy to tell other people what's wrong with them. It's very difficult for self-examination. And to be on this path, we have to be constantly doing self-examination. We have to constantly become self-aware of who and what we are and what our driving forces are. What is our motivation? Why do we do things? What's our intention? And we have to be able to be honest about that. If our intention is to harm other people, we're going to end up harming ourselves. If our intention is to embarrass other people, we're going to end up embarrassing ourselves. If our intention is to shame other people, we're going to end up shaming ourselves. We need to be joyous in the joys of others. We need to be able to be enthusiastic about the advancement of others. Bawa would look at us and see us in our full potential and would say things, children, gems of my eyes, those born with me, I look to you to reach the pinnacle of what you are capable of being. Allah sent into this world people to help other people reach the fulfillment of their capabilities, not to put people in their place and to keep people down. Why are people called walis? Because they're helpers of Allah, not because they're helpers of Satan, But there are helpers of Satan around, and they're in every community and in every location. So we have to be careful, but we also, if we don't pay too much attention to others, can focus on ourselves and find that serenity within us. The Sheikh attracted everything, and he attracted everybody. But we're not at the pond to look at what the Sheikh attracted. We're at the pond to look at the Sheikh and to see the reflection of ourselves in the Sheikh. And if we can see the Sheikh as the mirror for who we are and who we are supposed to become, then reality will enter us. And then his serenity will become our serenity. His truth will become our truth. His way will become our way. And then the path will be cleared for us so that we can enter into the true intention that he set for us and that Allah set for us. We have to take on this work, and this only happens through constant self-examination of what we do and how we do it. It comes through forgiveness, it comes through kindness, it comes through love, it comes through peace, it comes through wishing well for everyone in existence. May it be that each of us takes on these qualities, that each of us assumes this role in society, the ones who become the helpers of Allah, the ones who become the friends of Allah, the ones who do his work in this world. Ameen. Ameen. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.